I'll show you an easy recipe to make ramen noodles at home. Are you ready? Let's get started! Let's get started! Let's get started! To make ramen noodles, the first thing we're gonna make is the broth. A good broth goes a long way. So maybe do not buy the broth that you get from the store like chicken broth, beef broth, pork broth. It's not going to be as good as the broth you make at home. I like to use the pork ribs for my broth. And I do have a lot of friends who are kosher and do not eat pork. Don't worry, you can substitute it with beef. The only thing to remember is that when you buy meat, you have to buy meat on the bone. It is actually not only the meat makes good flavor in the broth, the bone actually helps a lot. So when you buy beef or pork for your broth, make sure you buy the parts of meat that is actually attached to the bone. And make sure you throw both the meat and bone in your broth. Ready? Let's get started. Alright, now we're gonna start making the broth. First of all, you need a slow cooker. The slow cooker makes this recipe much easier than using the regular stove and whatever. So buy a slow cooker. It's only like $20, $29. You don't have to buy a super big one, but I like to use this big one. Make sure you defrost the meat before you use them. First of all, put the meat into the crock pot. Then I'm gonna put water in it. Make sure you put lots of water. The next thing we're gonna put into my slow cooker is the Chinese cooking wine. I'll put the link down below in the comment box. A 1/4 cup of Chinese cooking wine, and you gotta get this brand. It's so much better than the other cooking wine. When you smell it, it may smell funny, but don't worry, because the alcohol smell is gonna get evaporated once you start heating the dish. So don't worry too much about the smell for now. And the next thing we're gonna put is ginger and garlic. It's really to eliminate the weird meaty taste from raw meat. So I'm gonna put this ginger. I already peeled this ginger. Now what we're gonna put is Chinese 5-spice powder. Put the link down below in the comment box. We literally put in every meat dish that we cook. Give it a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is gonna help you to accentuate the good smell of the meat and really eliminate all the raw meat smell. We already prepped this broth that's ready to be heated. Do not put salt. Do not put salt in your broth. It's gonna ruin the meat. It's gonna dehydrate the meat. It's gonna ruin everything. Do not put salt in your broth when you're making the broth. Alright, so we're gonna heat up this thing for 4 hours. 4 hours we're waiting for this baby. I really like to use the crock pot or the slow cooker is because once I turn it on, I can just go work on my papers and meetings, go to the gym and do my busy daily routine, and knowing that it's cooking my dinner. Another important thing is that if you're gonna leave the house for a long time, make sure it's on low. I know I'm being paranoid, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So I usually put it on low every time I leave the house, so make sure that it's not overly heated or causing a fire hazard. Alright, so I will see you guys in about 4 hours. Alright guys, now it's been 6 hours. So as you can see, the ribs are very soft. We're gonna transfer the broth and the meat into another pot like this, because we're gonna actually cook it in a stove. So the meat is already off the bone, and that's how soft it is. So we want to make sure that the meat is soft enough. We're gonna transfer this onto the stove. If you don't like the mushrooms, you don't have to use mushrooms. You can use any vegetables you want. Since I bought this enoki mushrooms last time from the Asian store, so I'm gonna use this one. Green onions for the flavor, and also some fresh corns. gonna put another types of mushrooms. First, I would put the corns in, because the longer the corn is boiled in this water, the more likely the sweetness of the corn will get into the broth. Now I'm gonna introduce you the secret ingredients of this ramen noodle. This is the ramen noodle I got from a Asian food website. I'll put the link down below. This is not sponsored, but this is literally the best brand I've ever had for making ramen noodles. And this thing is also healthy. It's real noodles. It's not like fried instant noodles or whatsoever. So this is really healthy. The only thing I want to say is it's now kosher because it actually has pork bone broth in this. So if you are kosher, you may want to find an alternative for the ramen seasoning. But this ramen noodle not only has the best noodle, but also the seasoning package in this ramen is really nice. You will find the following items. First, this is only dried ramen noodles. They're not fried. They're not pre-fried, so it's very healthy. Then you're gonna see this oil package. So I actually don't put this oil package in because it's essentially lard. So to make sure the food is healthy, I don't really put this in. So this one, do not put it in. Well, if you love it, you can, but for the sake of health, I don't. And this is the seasoning pack. And this is what I put into the noodle. This is what I actually put it in. It's the seasoning package. So now we're gonna put the seasoning pack. So if you look at the ramen, it already changed the color. It also has some dry green onions in it, so don't worry about, oh, what's that thingy inside? And now I'm gonna put the enoki mushrooms in. It's really healthy, but if you don't like the texture, you don't have to put this in. Then we're gonna put the regular mushroom. Now you see the water is boiling. Now it's time to put in the ramen noodles. Another trick to trick your boyfriend or your kids to eat more vegetables is put the enoki mushrooms and ramen in the same bowl. They're not gonna tell if they're eating ramen or the mushroom because look at this, it looks exactly like ramen, but they're mushrooms. And honestly, the enoki mushrooms, they don't have the mushroom taste that a lot of people hate. And to cook ramen noodles, I usually put the temperature in medium and I close the lid for 1 minute. When the noodle is cooking, we can now cut the eggs. You can hard boil some eggs by yourself, or I'm using the Costco hard boiled eggs. So after you close the lid for 1 minute, I like to open it and put the green onions we just chopped. Close the lid for 1 more minute. On the package it says cook for 3 minutes, but it's never ready after 3 minutes. One of the tricks I learned from my mom is every time when you cook dumplings, buns, or anything that's made of flour, you always want to close the lid. Like when you cook ramen noodles, you should always monitor the cooking process when cooking ramen noodles because you can easily overcook or undercook the ramen noodles. I think it's ready. Let's turn off the stove. And now we're gonna dish the ramen noodles. Okay, Miss Ming, don't make a mess. Another secret ingredient is this roasted seaweed snack. You can get it from any grocery store. Seaweed's on the side. Seaweed actually adds a lot of flavor to it. And it's always good to put in the soup. Finally, garnish it with some more green onions on the top. There you have it! Asian ramen noodle soup done within 15 minutes.